What's going on? Thank you for tuning in to Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. It is your girl. You know who it is. Yaya, the spiritual doula. Welcome back to all of my returning subscribers, my soul tribe, my community, my family, my homegirls that support your girl, that tap in with me. To all of my, first time viewers, first time subscribers, if you just recently subscribed, because we've been having a boom in growth on this channel, and I appreciate and I'm excited about it all. I'm excited about growth. It's a beautiful thing to see. I have this little message that I wanted to share. I stepped outside to have my morning coffee, right? And as I was listening to some music, I started feeling like a churning, like um it was giving tycoon, hurricane, air energy, right? But it wasn't really mixed with the water element, so it didn't feel like a storm. It didn't feel destructive to me. So I was just kind of sifting through, just tapping in, like, what is that? I feel air, I feel Oya, I feel transformation. I feel a lot of mental energy, a lot of mind energy. And then I started picking up the fire, right? Because I started seeing, I had to Google it, but they call it a bellow. One of those accordion looking things that they feed the fire with. They feed air into the flame to raise the flame up, to raise up the heat. So I'm like, okay, so this is fire and air. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And we just stepped into Sagittarius. Okay, bet. So, it's not a destructive wind. It's not a destructive fire. It's a emergence of air and fire elements for the purpose of bringing forth, for the purpose of birthing. Okay, so the feminine is heavily in the mental energy, right? The feminine is heavily in the thought. She's thinking, she's discerning, she's giving thought to the masculine and what the masculine needs to produce, what the masculine needs to be passionate about or is passionate about. So then I came back in, and I have this nature program that I watched, that I also kind of utilize to confirm the messages for me. And what was playing out, the scene that was playing out in the nature program, kind of helped me understand everything that's going on right now in the collective. And this may be confirmation for you. Now, you could be, as a feminine energy, thinking heavily about your masculine side, okay, within yourself. So your feminine is thinking heavily about what things you need to do next, what steps you need to take next, what strategies you need to take next, right? Or you could be a feminine that's actually thinking about another individual that is your masculine counterpart, okay, male or female. Gender here is not really not necessary to discuss, because as we all know, we both hold the masculine and feminine energies, right? So there was a scene, right, when I first walked in, and these little murrats, those little squirrel looking things that live under the ground, and they real, courageous and bold and shit. They was coming up, and there was a bird that was hunting the murrats. And so the murrats were kind of taunting the bird. I said, okay, so the bird is that air energy. The bird is actually a bird of prey, and is trying to get something to eat. So the feminine mind is on the hunt. The feminine mind is thinking about, is feeding the flame, is thinking about being fed, is thinking about feeding the flame. The feminine air energy is on the hunt, right? Now, the murat represent that root energy that I was also feeling outside, and I couldn't really put my finger on what's going on in the root, right? What's going on in the earth? What's going on in the root of the collective? The murats kept going into the hole. They were going into the ground and popping back out, going in and popping back out. And so I'm like, okay, so there's something springing forth from the root, right? And the air energy, that bird energy, is hunting it, right? The air energy is thinking heavily about what's coming out of the root. And then the nature program, it brought in a fox. I say, oh, okay. I said, okay. Now the fox energy is fire, and then I googled it to confirm. The fox represents the fire, and the fox also represents air energy. Now, before I saw the murats, when I first walked in the room, right, on the screen was a lioness and she was chilling. She wasn't hunting nothing. She was just kicked back chilling. So after the fox came and the fox tried to get him one of the murats, and the murats kept popping in and popping out under the ground. I think they murats. I did some squirrel looking thing popping in and popping out, right? The fox wasn't able to get one. The bird wasn't able to get one. And then all of a sudden, the murats, they started mating. Like right while they're being hunted, they started mating. And I'm like, are they hunching? I'm like, wait a minute, are they hunching? Wow, they got a bird and a fox trying to eat their ass up, and they is hunching while being hunted. That's a word right there. Look, so then the nature program, I'm gonna run y'all through this, so just follow me, okay? The nature program it went back to the lioness. And now there is a lion laying down with the lioness, and they were lounging around for a second, and then the lion got up and the lioness got in position and they started mating. I said, okay, there it is, because the lions represent that fire element too. Okay, so the feminine is thinking heavily about the masculine, whether this is your masculine side as an individual or you are thinking heavily about your masculine counterpart. And that you thinking about your masculine side or your masculine counterpart is feeding the flame of the masculine. It is causing the masculine to be aroused. It's causing the masculine to be turned up. It's causing the flame of the masculine to be passionate, to be impassioned. Okay? And what I'm hearing Spirit say is that there's about to be a lot of merging, a lot of mating, a holy matrimony between the masculine fire and the feminine air. The feminine feeds the masculine. Okay, so when she is in alignment and she is able to think clearly and use clear perception, she knows what to feed the masculine to draw him in. Again, this is either your individual two aspects, or this is your counterpart. And if this is your counterpart, you may not actually be in union with this counterpart. But let me explain. It's about to be a lot of unions between divine feminines and divine masculines, irrespective of genders. Okay? Irrespective of genders. There's about to be a holy matrimony. There's about to be a lot of coming together, a lot of mating. Okay? Because the feminine mind is calling in her masculine. The feminine mind, the thought, the air of the feminine is inflaming the masculine and causing the masculine to pursue the mating. Yeah. So if this is your feminine and masculine aspect, it works just the same. There are about to be a lot of you who are going to come up with new strategies, new inventions, new innovations for your life, for the community, for humanity. There are a lot of divine feminine aspects that are thinking towards forward moving, progressive thoughts towards what the masculine needs to accomplish next. And that is inflaming your masculine aspect. Things that you thought, ideas that you thought that you weren't going to be able to accomplish, or ideas that you had 2 or 3 years ago, are all of a sudden going to pop up into your root chakra, and they're going to come forth, right? They're going to spring forth like the little squirrel looking thing that was popping up out of the hole and going back in, and popping up and going back in. There's a mating that's taking place. When I was standing outside, I said, okay, so this is Oya and Shango. Okay. This is Oya and Shango. Right? There's a merging of these two elements. You can't have fire without air. But you also can't have fire without something to burn. And that's that root, that earth energy. Things are being revealed in the root, right? For some of you, your feminine mind is inflaming your masculine to go after the thing in the root that is hidden, making it pop out, making it come up. What is in the root that is being hidden? It needs to be revealed. It needs to be hunted down, right? It needs to be dealt with. Whether it be a blockage, whether it be an idea that you had that you didn't take action on, but it was a really good idea and it's directly connected to your destiny, purpose, and abundance, you need to revisit that, right? So when the little murat looking squirrel looking thing was popping up and they started mating, they stepped into a fire element because the sexuality is a fire element, right? So they started mating. So then they stepped in. Oh my God. What I'm hearing Spirit say is that the collective is like you know how fire jumps? It jumps, okay? It spreads. So there's a fire, there's a flame that is spreading through the collective. There's a fire that is spreading through those who are prepared to go after their destiny, after their purpose, after what they're passionate about. There's a fire that is spreading from me to you, from you to someone else, and from that someone else to someone else. There's a fire that is spreading. Because the feminine is sitting in a place of clear perception, clear discernment, clear thinking. However this applies to you today, Divine Feminines, I just wanted to share, if you're feeling that impassioned, if you're feeling that's your masculine side, your masculine side is feeling like get up and go get it. Get up and go pursue it. Get up and go mate with it. Get up and go mate with it. Sacred sexuality, sacred lust, right? And with the clarity of the feminine, he is only going to pursue. He's not bogged down with pursuing his own things. He's not trying to make his own way. He can hear because she is speaking clearly and concisely. Yeah. This is a season of transformation. This is a season of sacred sexuality between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Again, whether it be individualized or whether this is concerning a counterpart. Many of divine feminines are calling in their divine masculine counterparts. And you thinking your thoughts towards him is inflaming him, whether you know him or not. Whether he laying right in bed with you or whether he somewhere in Timbuktu and you don't even know who he is or where he is, it's inflaming him. You're calling him in. You're positioning yourself like the lioness for him to come into you. This is about to be a beautiful season of holy mating, sacred mating between divine feminine and divine masculinity. This is going to be dope. This is going to be dope. Because the feminine has been waiting for the masculine to be in position. But really, the feminine has been putting aside every weight, right? That bogs down her mind, that causes her not to see herself as she should. She's been setting aside illusions. She's been tapping into the clarity that is afforded her through intuition, through discernment. So while she thinks she's been waiting for him to be in position, she hasn't been. She's been working to get herself in position so she can call him in, because he will go where she calls him. He will go where she calls him. Sometimes the call from the feminine side is a little bit muddled. It's a little bit, it's not clear. But when she gets clear, it makes it easier for her to call him in according to what she sees she truly needs. So that when they come together, from the root springs forth new life. From the root springs forth nourishment. From the root springs forth mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I just wanted to share that with you, Divine Feminines, that you doing the work that you have been doing to exist, to thrive in clear thinking, you aligning yourself to receive the spiritual information that you needed to receive. And now that you have received it, the masculine is ready. The masculine of you is ready. Your counterpart is prepared, is being prepared to come towards you. There's going to be some good love making going on, both spiritually and physically. You know what I mean? There's going to be some good love making going on. There's going to be some new babies, both spiritually and physically. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I am your girl. I really, really appreciate all of you who support the channel. Thank you for your likes, your comments. Please take a moment to like this message so that it can get out into the algorithm to those who need to hear it. All right. Turn on your notification bell. Become a new subscriber if you haven't subscribed. You might want to do that because it's popping over here. All right. It's popping over here. We're keeping each other encouraged, uplifted, empowered. Okay. Tap into the energy check-ins, the readings that I've been doing. Been getting a lot of good responses from those, and I'm very grateful to all of you for your participation in growing this community. Okay. Again, turn on your notification bell so you know when I'm back with another message. And I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. All right, peace, family.